Hi, my name is Ellie Gettinger. I'm Education Director at Jewish Museum Milwaukee, and I'm delighted to be with you today to share one of the stories that we share most often in JMM. This is the story of the Heller family. And this is a story that since we opened has been one that really illustrates the early German-speaking immigration to Milwaukee. So let's dig in to the Hellers and how they established themselves and the challenges they faced as newcomers to the United States. The first thing we have from this collection is this picture of Bernard Heller, circa about 1840. And they're starting out in Bohemia. They're starting out in a city called Schitau from about 2 hours outside of Prague in what was called Bohemia, which would now be the Czech Republic. The Hellers are leaving, and actually this gives a great explanation of what were the pushes and pulls that are driving them out of Europe and pulling them towards Milwaukee. Their son, Louis, writes in a autobiography history that we have in our collection. In 1848, Frederick the Great, King of Prussia, started a campaign to enlarge his country, causing a disturbance among the other provinces. My parents, who had a very hard life by being taxed by the government for every blade of grass they grew, father and mother had been living a very close life, and they'd saved up sufficient money for the immigration to America, having heard that there were immeasurable opportunities for a happy life in this country. So that's what Louis Heller is saying about his parents' departure in 1848. He makes it very clear they didn't need any sort of documentation at this point to travel, that they didn't need passports. They just needed to have enough money to go from Bohemia to a port city. In their case, they go to Hamburg. Here's a picture of Hamburg at that time, which I imagine felt very bustling. And then they take a boat, and you can see that Hamburg in 1848 is an active port, but these are sailing ships, not steamships. So in order to travel to the United States, you are going to be on one of these ships, and they are on a 90-day voyage with their 5 children. So 90 days, 5 children, and they have to bring their own food with them. So Heller, in his autobiography, writes that they bring smoked fish, smoked beef, and prunes, and that the boat provides them with bread and water and coffee, I believe. But still, 90 days in one of these boats, it had to be an incredibly long journey, an incredibly hard journey. And they arrive in New York knowing that they want to come to Milwaukee. They've heard Milwaukee is a great place for people who speak German. They're excited about this opportunity. And so they immediately land in New York, and then they purchase tickets to get to Milwaukee. But again, it's not as easy as it would be even within 2 to 3 decades, because train travel hasn't been. You don't have the transcontinental railroad. So in order to get to Milwaukee, they are going to take the Great Lakes, locks and barges to get through in order to get there. And so it takes, it's my understanding, about another 6 weeks or so. So all told, they're in transit for 6 months to arrive in Milwaukee. And they land in about 1848. And they discover that there isn't even like a boardwalk yet in Milwaukee. In fact, they're just planks that are driven into the water at the Huron Street Pier. And Mr. Heller, they don't have a place to stay. He has 5 children and a wife, and they have to figure out how to support themselves. So he goes and he just starts asking around in German, what can I do? What can I do? And he gets his first job working on roads. And I think it's 50 cents a day is what Mr. Louis Heller, his son, says about what he makes. And he's able to rent a room, a small room. And I think he had a total of 25 cents in his pocket when he landed. And it's on Plankington, and it's one small room for all 7 people, where their furniture is made of boxes. And they describe a Milwaukee that is so unsettled that actually there are still Native Americans living on the bluff above where their house is. So they arrive and they get settled and they get started, and he's working this job, paving roads, and then also figures out that he needs to earn more money than that. So very quickly after that, he starts making sausages as well and selling them to a local grocer. His wife is in on this business, and that becomes a fairly successful sausage works, and they actually go into meat packing and processing and trading. There's all sorts of other entrepreneurial ventures that he is, getting $5 and buying a horse and wagon and getting $10 or getting a cart, and then $10 and getting a horse and wagon. And that with each step of his financial growth, he's able to build the family a slightly bigger house or enlarge the business. This is Mr. and Mrs. Heller after about 12 years in the country, and you can see they're fairly established. One of the things that she does is she becomes very involved in the True Schwerin, a German Jewish benevolent society that was still in the works in the 1930s when Mr. Heller is writing this. And she was fairly active in the Schwestern and that she was seen as like a pillar within the community. And they grow this business. In the United States, they have 2 more children. So Louis is one of the 2 children that they have in the United States. He's their youngest son. And he was born, I believe, in 1852. The Sausage Works grows, and it enables them to set up their children in all sorts of businesses, not just in Milwaukee, but in Chicago as well. And they become fairly acclimated and acculturated in the United States. Here are some images of their sausage factory. I love this picture of the original, that was founded in 1849 in Milwaukee, but you can see by 1886 and 1891, they're not just based in Milwaukee, they also have factories in Nebraska City, Nebraska, and they also have one in Sioux City, Iowa. And it's already, they built a larger factory in 1866, so very close to when that last photo was taken. And they rebuilt this after I believe it's a fire in 1883. But large sausage works, and with not just Milwaukee as its space, but a national space as well. Here is a picture that was in the Milwaukee Jewish, this is in the Journal Sentinel. And I love it. It says, Louis Heller, who with Mrs. Heller celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. And when he writes his short memoir, it was their 52nd anniversary. And he actually describes that he saved her in a boat trip that she had almost fallen overboard, and he was able to catch her when she was 15, he was 20, and they end up getting married. That many people said it was because she just had to show him gratitude for saving her life, but he felt like after 52 years, it wasn't just about gratitude. And he's holding his great-grandson, Lawrence William Tooley's. And the Tooley's family was another long-standing Milwaukee family. They had a seed company. And so it shows you in this one picture, the merging of 2 of these big established German-speaking families in Milwaukee. This is one of the stories we tell all the time in terms of the hardships it takes to get here, the types of people who are coming here. What were the pushes and pulls of immigration? For the Hellers, it was all about the opportunity to build a life and to not potentially be taxed in this way, and also to avoid whatever the King of Prussia was trying to do. And then at the same time, this is a place where they really felt like there would be the opportunity to grow a business and to build something not just for themselves, but for the generations that followed. And I think that this picture really shows that they were successful in that. So thank you so much for joining me today for this museum moment. My name is Ellie Gettinger, and I have to thank our supporter, Robin Cohen, for making sure that these museum moments are possible. If you want to learn more about Jewish Museum Milwaukee, please go to our website, jewishmuseummilwaukee.org, or come and visit. We're open Sunday through Friday, and we'd love to have you. Our exhibit right now is Scrapyard. Thanks so much, and have a great day.